I am being joined by Jodie Primeau, a lawyer. You own your own law practice. You are a mom, a triathlete, and the NDP federal candidate for Renfrew, Nipissing, Pembroke. So welcome to the Mom Files, and thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you so much for inviting me. I'm really looking forward to being part of the Mom Files. I'm a new mom, so it's a real honor to be accepted into the fold.
Well, we're happy to have you. I speak on behalf of all of us.
All moms everywhere.
Yeah. So before we dive in too much on the political side of things, I wanted to give people an opportunity to get to know you, the person. So you did open up your law firm, I think in 2019?
That's right.
So you went from being just a practicing lawyer. What kind of gave you that drive to then also want to be a business owner? Because that's a lot.
It is. And actually, it's funny, not a lot of people ask me that, but it was a really important question for me. When I was growing up, I was always told that I was terrible with money, terrible with organization. And I think on my report card, it said if her head wasn't screwed on so firmly to her body, it would fall off. And so I really never saw myself being a business owner because, quite frankly, I didn't see myself having that type of responsibility. But I had been practicing for, I guess, 7 or 8 years at that point. And I recognized that I had built a real practice and I was quite good at building a practice. My clients were really invested in me. And it was also a practice that was under another person who didn't share, a lot of the views that I did. Not to say that they were wrong, we weren't aligned in that way. And so I proposed a couple of different structures to him about how I could have my practice. And as you might know, I'm a feminist, a strong feminist with a lot of very specific views, how I could have my practice and his practice. And ultimately, it became quite clear that I just had to do my own thing. Like my wings were starting to spread and I was ready to fly. And so I just took the leap, made the applications to the banks, and just dove in with the help of my career coach, Shay Brecken. And so once I had done that, kind of giving myself permission to succeed really took off. And so from there, I just started to really dig in. I had to go through a bunch of banks who wouldn't at first fund me. And this is a real common problem for a lot of women, actually, trying to get funded for their own startup. But I met an amazing woman at the Bank of Montreal who also believed in me. And so just as we started to grow, all these people who were working with me, I brought my assistant who had actually never worked in a law firm before. She was an early childhood educator. And we just kept growing with people who just believed for no other reason except for our grit and determination and previous success in similar spheres that we could do it. And we did it. And all of a sudden we were a firm and it was happening and it's been amazing ever since.
And not only do you have your own firm, but I think it's the only entirely female firm in the area, which is a huge accomplishment.
Thank you. Yes, and we're also the first female run firm in Jupiter. So I'm the first female practicing lawyer. Now, I should be careful because there are other female practices. For example, someone practicing on their own or in partnership, but we're the only fully female firm. That's right.
Which is super exciting. Now, the pandemic hit shortly after opening. So what has that experience been like? Because small business owners everywhere have had such a struggle. So, I mean, you truly understand what that feels like.
Yeah, absolutely. So when the pandemic first hit, it was February. So I was about 3.5 months pregnant when we started to see it coming. By March, when the lockdowns came out, 4 months pregnant, and I just bought the commercial building that I'm in. So I put my name down, hadn't paid for it yet. We had this set to close in April, and I realized that it was actually really frightening. All of the movers shut down, so we couldn't get a mover. So it was me, like at that time, by that moment, 5 months pregnant self, and my two parents, and Ronnie Cochran, a husband of one of my friends, and we did the entire move of the office, of all of our tech, of our servers, and of the two houses, because I also moved into my commercial building as my main residence, so I could work upstairs with the baby. So we did that all by ourselves as the hardware stores were closing. So it was terrifying. And I remember looking every day just on my computer saying like, okay, what are we supposed to do? What's going to happen? And unfortunately, nobody in our area was telling us what to do. Like I was looking really to our elected representatives on both the provincial and the federal level.
Very little guidance.
I completely agree. And that's exactly how I felt. I was just like, just say something, tell me something. And so it was a big reason as this went on. It's a big reason why I got into politics, because I remember feeling that loneliness and that isolation. Of course, there was the physical isolation in the pandemic, but I mean, the isolation, like I wanted to hear a voice. And it's not to say that anyone did anything wrong in that situation. I'm saying that that's what I needed in that moment. And so now I've decided to create it. That's the way that I would lead, would be with a loud voice. And that's how I envision leadership.
If you've liked hanging out with the Mom Files, be sure to hit the like button, subscribe to our channel, and leave a comment below.